Hey guys, so this will be my final video in my series of videos covering the top 10 pieces of artwork from each of Anachronism's 7 card sets. This will cover set 7, which to be honest is probably my least favorite set for artwork in its entire collectible card game. That being said, there are still some cool pieces. First off, at number 10, I have the Alamo by Ty the Walpole. The Alamo was an iconic event of the Texas Revolution and saw the Mexican army defeating and wiping out the Texan forces. Prominent figures such as Jim Bowie and Davy Crockett died at the battle. Jim Bowie actually happens to be one of the warrior cards from the American Frontiersman set. Remember, the Alamo became a famous rallying cry after the battle. And this really isn't the greatest piece, to be honest, but I do like how it represents a famous moment in history. I also like the look of the Mexican soldiers advancing and how you can see their bayonets as well. So number 10, the Alamo. At number 9, I have Joshua by Miguel Coimbra. Joshua is the central figure in the biblical book of Joshua. He was the assistant of Moses and led the tribes of Israel after Moses died. He led the Israelite tribes in the conquest of the promised land of Canaan. And my favorite part about this piece is the beautiful background scenery, which I presume may be a depiction of the Promised Land. I also think Joshua's sword looks really cool, which by the way has its own card. So at number 9, Joshua. At number 8, I have Theseus and Bossy by Alan Pollock. This piece is depicting the Greek god Apollo raising up the Trojan prince Hector after he had gone down in battle. According to the Greek epic poem the Iliad, Apollo helps Hector and the Trojans as he's angry with the Greeks for dishonoring his priest. And I'm not really sure what the name of this card means, but I do think the artwork looks pretty cool, especially the artist's depiction of the Greek god Apollo. I like how he's kind of coming out of the clouds, as it really does make him look very epic and godlike. So at number 8, Theseus and Bossy. At number 7, I have Orgy 2 Poseidona by John Donahue. This card shows the story of Laocoon, a Trojan priest who, along with his 2 sons, was killed and devoured by 2 giant sea serpents. The 2 giant sea serpents were sent by Poseidon, who sent them to kill Laocoon and his sons after Laocoon had warned the Trojans about the infamous Trojan horse. This is a sad and tragic piece. You can see Laocoon and his 2 sons in the background suffering at the hands of the serpents, and it's only a matter of time before they meet their deaths. So at number 7, Orgy 2 Poseidona. At number 6, I have Tall Tales by Chris Dean. This piece is depicting Jim Bridger, a famous American frontiersman and explorer of the American West. When telling astonished audiences stories of the American West, he would tell tall tales of things like crystal mountains, lakes fed by boiling water, and even how he was once killed by a group of Indians. That's what this piece, I presume, is depicting. And I really like this piece because it reminds me of an old spaghetti western. To be honest, the depiction of Jim Bridger in this piece actually reminds me of Clint Eastwood. So number 6, Tall Tales. At number 5, I have Theseus by Michael Komark. Theseus was the mythical king and founder hero of Athens. It's not really known whether Theseus was a real person, but his legend has provided material for fiction throughout the ages. And this is a classic Michael Komark Anachronism piece. It really reminds me of some of his other great pieces in this collectible card game, such as Joan of Arc and Michael the Archangel. I really love Theseus' epic pose, and I like the detail of the birds and the sails in the background. So at number 5, Theseus. At number 4, I have Johnstons Army by Chris Dean. This card is referring to the army of Albert Sidney Johnston, a U.S. Army general who served during the 19th century. During the Utah War, Johnston's army was tasked with quelling the Mormon rebellion. And this is an awesome piece, And at the center of it is again Jim Bridger. According to the flavor text, Jim Bridger led Johnston's army against the Mormons in 1857 to drive them out of Fort Bridger. So at number 4, Johnston's Army. At number 3, I have Rocky Mountain Fur Company by Chris Dean. The Rocky Mountain Fur Company was established in St. Louis, Missouri in 1822 by William Henry Ashley and Andrew Henry. The company became a pioneer in the exploration of the American West. And unlike a lot of other Anachronism pieces, this piece is very tranquil. It's a beautiful piece, and I love how the mountain scenery just gives me a really peaceful feeling when I look at it. So at number 3, Rocky Mountain Fur Company. At number 2, I have Yericho by Miguel Coimbra. Yericho is the Hebrew word for Jericho, the famous biblical city. According to the book of Joshua, Joshua's army marched around Jericho for 7 days while blowing their trumpets and carrying the Ark of the Covenant. After that, the walls fell. And I love how this is such an awesome depiction of such a famous moment in biblical history. The army marching around the walls looks really awesome and formidable, and I like the rays of sun shining through the walls themselves. It's cool that another one of the cards in the Joshua set goes along with the theme and shows the walls falling. So at number 2, Yericho. And finally, at number 1, I have Queen Anne's Revenge by Klaus Strawinski. Queen Anne's Revenge was the legendary flagship of the famous pirate Blackbeard. She started out as a naval frigate before later being converted into a slave trading ship. Later, she was captured by Blackbeard and his pirates. With Queen Anne's Revenge, Blackbeard captured many possessions. Her shipwreck was discovered relatively recently, in 1996. To be honest, this is probably the weakest of all the number 1 pieces across all 7 sets. That being said, I still think it looks like a really badass piece. It definitely does look worthy of such a legendary pirate like Blackbeard. So number 1, Queen Anne's Revenge. So yeah, that concludes my top 10 pieces of artwork for set number 7 and this entire video series. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.